Oh, don't mind me, I'm just sat over here jamming out to the Amadeus ringtone. For some reason, it's majestic, and I don't know why. Hey there, guys, my name is Nix, and welcome back to Steins Gate 0. Last time... Oh god, Maho just proved that she's such a fucking good character. Twin Automata is probably, like... In terms of what happens, it's not the best ending, but it's the best fucking ending so far. Let's be real. Ah, god. Anyway, nope, it's not X, it's C. That's the button I need. It's the one next to it on the keyboard. Hi, Kurisu! We haven't spoken for a while. Hello? Help me. I'd never seen an AI cry before. Okay. This isn't good. Kurisu? Help me, Okabe! In that instant, I suddenly felt incredibly dizzy, and everything went black. World lines, here we come! Oh god, no! I know what that starting with a decimal with a 0 means. Are we back to communism? Are we going back to communist dystopias? Heavy breathing intensifies. And please, world, like, anytime you'd like to form back so I know what's happening. I felt like I was floating up from the bottom of a black pit. My mind slowly began to clear. Where am I? I slowly looked around the room. There was no way I could mistake it. This was the Future Gadget Lab. The place I'd been just a moment ago. There was nothing unusual about it. Except for the fact that everyone was missing. They'd been there just a moment ago, but now they were all gone. I looked at the clock. It had been just about 3 PM when I finished my call with Maho. Only a few minutes had passed. Even if I passed out, it was impossible to imagine all of them leaving me here. Which meant... No way. I took a slow walk around the room. There were other strange things. Daru's PC, for example. There was a thin layer of dust on the keyboard. As if no one had used it for a while. And then the corner of the room. Normally that's where Mayuri put her bags. The paper bags where she always put the cosplay outfit she was working on. I'd seen them there just a moment ago, but now they were gone. Could this be... The world lines changed again. But why? Come to think of it, Kurisu's words from before. Help me, Okabe! Why would Kurisu say something like that? Did it have something to do with the world line shift? I took the phone out of my pocket and went to start the Amadeus app, and then stopped. It's gone. The Amadeus icon was gone from my phone. What's going on here? My mind raced to try and come up with an explanation. But of course I came up with nothing. Calm down. Just find out what's going on here. I need to calmly find out what this world was like. I was about toward the door to find out when... The back of the room. I heard a sound from the back of the development room, which no one ever used anymore. Someone was there. Who? Daru? Mayuri? I slowly approached. I almost couldn't breathe. I never forgot. I'd never forgotten her. The girl standing there was Makase Kurisu. Yep. On one hand, I kind of figured this when we changed to the 0.05, 0. Whatever timeline. I don't know if I'm pleased to see you or not. I'm real honest. This is a bad time. Not to sound like an asshole, but... Oh, am I kidding? Antinomic duel. Makase Kurisu was looking down at something. This is impossible! Kurisu couldn't be here. Because she was dead. Was I seeing things? Was my desire to see her making me hallucinate? But it seemed far too realistic to be a hallucination. Still, it felt that if I spoke a word, she'd disappear. I couldn't say a thing. What was she staring at, without even moving a muscle? She was so still that I thought she must be a hallucination after all. But then... She finally exhaled a little and slowly turned around. I like how you don't get new art. I'm pretty sure this is from the original. Anyway. I guess it's good to see you. Okabe? Man's about to cry. My throat was dry and I couldn't speak. If you were standing there, you should have said something. You scared me. Happy New Year's. Anyway, it's not often I see you come by anymore. Okabe? Kurisu. Kurisu. It's really you, isn't it? What the heck kind of way to start off New Year's that? You okay? Did you eat something bad? Even her slightly peeved expression. Kurisu. What? And then the gentle flash you saw and the gentle flash you sometimes saw in her eyes. And this. What's wrong? Are you really okay? Even her warmth. Hey! What are you doing? It wasn't a hallucination. Or an artificial intelligence on a screen. It was the real Makase Kurisu. Okabe? The real, live Makase Kurisu. Okabe? Please. Let me go. I'm sorry. Please let me stay here just like this for a little longer. Are you crying? I realized for the first time that my cheeks were wet. I felt her soft hands on my back. Don't worry. It's okay now. Kurisu. It's okay. It's okay. She whispered to me in a soft voice and patted me on the back. And wrapped her arms around me. Like a kind mother holding a child. I'm sorry. I finally calmed myself down. She was still there. She still existed. Now that I've calmed down, I realize what that meant. No, don't worry about it. That happens to me too sometimes.
そういうこと
That?
思い出したんでしょ
You were thinking about Mayuri, weren't you? That's right. Kurisu was here. Which meant this was the Alpha World line. The world without Mayuri. The world where Mayuri died. Some small part of me wished that this was the world beyond Steins Gate. That was a new future, which someone else had opened for me. But of course, it was too good to be true. There was no way for me to know what had happened. But I must have made my choice. To give up on Mayuri. There was a future where she was gone. Confronted once more with the reality of Mayuri's death, my heart felt like it was about to burst. Mayuri. How had she died?
Okabe?
Okabe? Did they push her in front of a train? Okay. Stop you right there. That one wasn't them. That was Nai with an accident. It was still horrific, but never mind. Did they shoot her? Man. This is... Jesus Christ, dude. You doing okay? Oh. Calm down! Kurisu's tiny hand wrapped around mine. Okay? Come on, deep breaths. Sounds like he's breathing pretty deeply to me. Little by little, my racing heart began to calm down. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. No. It's not that. It's not. You going to take something? I'll bring you some water. I rummaged through my pocket and found a small box of pills. Well, good. It's good to see some things don't change. It was the same anxiety medication that I'd already been taking. Even in this world, I was still on the same drugs. I looked around the room while Kurisu got me some water from the tap. Hey, Okabe. Why? Why did you come back here? What? You hadn't come here for a long time, you know. Even Hashida stopped coming. Daru too? Yeah. The room was awfully clean then. I took a closer look and saw that there were a few places like Daru's PC that were covered in dust, but the rest seemed to have been regularly cleaned. You, Kurisu, you've been coming here? Sometimes. They'd be sad otherwise. I didn't have to ask who they were. Mayuri loved this place. She loved the Future Gadget Lab. She loved the time she spent with all the lab members here. I'm sorry. Why are you apologizing? Because... I waited, but no answer ever came. What was she apologizing for? For talking about Mayuri? For making me remember? Or for making me choose? Kurisu. What? No, nothing. Okay. If I said something, she'd answer me right away. I could reach out and touch her. That alone brought me to the verge of tears. If I just stayed here, like this... What was I thinking? I'd given up on everything and left her to die. And still, I was happy to be back here in this world line with Kurisu. As I was sad over losing Mayuri, part of me was thinking I wanted to stay here. Even though I didn't have the right. If there was a god in this world, he must be a cruel, twisted being. Why was he doing this to me again? Was what I'd done that wrong? I'd already made my choice once. There was no way to save the world. There was no way to save Kurisu. But with Kurisu in front of me, I was already starting to waver. Should I go back to the Beta World line? Should I send the D-mail? The D-mail? Hey, what happened to the foam wave? What? You destroyed it. Did you forget? Yeah. Yeah, that's right. The foam wave no longer existed, it seemed. Of course it didn't. Its mere existence made me a target for CERN. But without it, I couldn't leave the world line on my own. So even if I did stay here in this world line, it wouldn't be my responsibility. It wasn't my fault, and it wasn't something I wanted. Which meant... Hey, Okabe? Hmm? Sorry, could you get me something to drink? Something to drink? I'm thirsty, you know. Something warm if you could. I can make instant coffee if you want. Wasn't that what Kurisu had always made me do? 2 cubes of sugar, and no milk. We're out of coffee. Okay. Yeah, I should go. I want to get outside and think things through. Something sweet, with milk and sugar. I thought you didn't put milk in your coffee. On cold days, I always want something sweet and creamy. Roger. I stood up and headed for the door, but turned around halfway. What? No. Felt like if I took my eyes off her, she'd disappear. That was far too embarrassing to say. Okabe? Hmm? Hang in there. I'm not a kid. I can run a simple errand. Yeah, you're right. Bye. My whole body relaxed the second I stepped outside of the lab. Evidently, meeting the living Kurisu made me really tense. I didn't know how to talk to her or what to say anymore. Even though I'd spoken to Kurisu like it was the most normal thing in the world. I still couldn't believe it, though. Was this really the Alpha World line? No. If Kurisu was here, it had to be. But then why? Who caused the world line to change, and how? Save me, Okabe! That call from Kurisu. Was that what triggered it somehow? No, I should stop thinking about it. If someone else had caused it somehow, I shouldn't get involved anymore. I didn't want to. I didn't want to overthrow the structure of the world anymore. I just wanted to live in peace. In a universe with no world lines or attractor fields. I stopped letting the whims of fate rule my life. There was nothing left that I could do. Suddenly, something seemed very wrong. Kursu's words a moment ago. What had they meant? Okabe? Hang in there. She couldn't mean to... I turned around and rushed back to the lab. Kursu! What? Kursu. You. That. Too bad. I guess you found me. She was just where I'd seen her the first time, standing and looking toward the back of the development room. In the depths of the darkness, in a spot that just a moment ago had been covered by a cloth, I saw an old microwave with its door taken off. The foam wave, name subject to change. Future gadget number 8. It was the gadget that had changed my fate. No, the fate of the world. How? Didn't I destroy it? Yeah, you did. This is the new one I made. You could call it the Foam Wave Custom. Or wasn't the real name a little longer? Maybe it should be the Foam Wave name subject to change Custom. The name doesn't matter! You remade it? But why? To send a message to the past. I'm going to send a message and change the world line. No. Maybe it would be better to say fix rather than change. I actually finished this over a month ago. And since then, I've just been standing here, wondering whether or not I should send the message. I certainly didn't expect to see you... I certainly didn't expect you to come see me, though. What are you? Tell me, Okabe. You just came from another world line, didn't you? And it was probably the Beta world line. Am I wrong? You can tell? You'd never do something like that otherwise. Something like what? Well, the way you hugged me, you know? It was all so wonderful. The way her cheeks reddened in embarrassment and she looked away. The way she pursed her lips. The way she fiddled with the ends of her hair. Everything was just so wonderful. I realized it again. I was in love with her. And what's more, something else changed the world line. You didn't do it voluntarily. Am I right? So you know everything then? Do you realize how much time I've spent watching you? Huh? No, it's not like that. I don't mean like watching you. Well, I mean... I do mean it in that sense, but anyway... She took a deep breath and looked up at me again. You came from the Beta world line, then you chose that world once before, didn't it? She was so far beyond what I could hope to be. In those brief moments, she discovered all of it. She was right about everything. But even so, I couldn't let her know. Admitting that would mean admitting that I left her to die. There was no way I could do that. I'm sorry. In the end, that was all I said. But that was an admission, all the same. But instead of looking sad, she...
Don't apologize, dummy. It was your choice, right? So have confidence in it.
She tried to cheer me up. That's right. Kurisu was right. I was the one who'd chosen the beta word line. But...
And you know, I don't think you were wrong. You just got here, so you wouldn't know, but for the last several months you've done nothing but blame yourself. Not that you'd ever let me see it.
It was the same. It was the same as what I'd gone through. It was the same as the beta word line.
But there was nothing I could do. Because your pain was because of me. You suffered so much just to let me live. But that ends today. It has to. Because if it doesn't, the guild is going to keep eating away at you. And in the end it'll crush you.
It's the same.
What do you mean?
In the end, no matter which choice I make, I regret it. Not being able to save you. Not being able to save Mayuri. It doesn't matter whether I'm in the Alpha World line or the Beta World line. So, maybe I should just stay here.
Get a hold of yourself, Okabe Rintaro!
Kurisu.
Snap out of it! This isn't like you! The showing humor I love is always much more confident.
Showing Kyoma, huh? That was a name I hadn't heard in a long time.
You made the right choice. You chose to save Mayuri. And you weren't wrong.
But I let you...
Listen, I know what you're seeing right now is... It's a dream, that's all.
A dream?
That's right. You had a dream while you met me. That's all. Well, doesn't that make you feel a little better?
Kurisu sighed a little and laughed.
We've learned so much about how the brain works, but we still don't understand the mechanisms by which we dream. The brain organizes and processes memories during sleep. One theory states that dreams are a result of that process. In other words, this is a dream. This is a dream world being experienced by you in the Beta World line. So you can get your head together, you know? And if it's a dream, you have to wake up someday. Am I wrong?
This isn't a dream! You're right! I reached out and touched her cheek. You're right here, aren't you?
Touch sensation? Touch sensations are just another of the brain's functions.
She took a quick step back. The sensation of her cheek disappeared from my fingers.
You won't be happy here anyway. You'll never be rid of the regret. And neither will I.
That doesn't change in the Beta World line either. I've done nothing but regret that I couldn't save you.
But Mayuri's happy at least, isn't she?
Mayuri's... She doesn't know anything. Because that's what I wanted. I wanted her to know nothing and be happy. For now, that wish was still coming true, but...
You want Mayuri to be happy. So do I. I'm the same way. Which means that you made the right choice after all.
I finally met her again, but she was here, alive, right in front of me, but...
Oh, come on!
She walked up with me without even trying to hide her frustration.
Stop this nonsense already, Okabe Rintaro! You already reached your conclusion. You can't stay here. You have to go back. You have to wake up from the dream. Because I don't want to see you suffer like this anymore.
Kurisu.
Come on, this is a waste of time. I'm doing it.
She turned away from me. I could feel the strength of her will, her resolve. I remembered what I'd seen just after coming to this world line. Kurisu had been standing there in front of the foam wave. Thinking back, she probably made her decision. Without anyone knowing. Without anyone to say goodbye to. She'd chosen to go to a world where she would no longer exist. It had probably taken her a long time and a lot of struggle to come to that decision. She probably asked herself 1,000 times if it was really the right answer. If this was what she'd chosen after all that. I didn't have the right to stop her. It would be wrong.
Hey, Okabe? Promise me before you wake up. Promise me something.
What?
When you go to the Beta World line, forget about me.
That was just the opposite of what she said that day. That day, the day when I'd chosen the Beta World line, she said to me, "Don't forget me." But now she was asking for the opposite. Forget you? You know I can't do that! She was always like that. She always cared more about others than herself. She always sacrificed herself. She was asking me this for my sake only. She didn't want to be forgotten. She hated being forgotten more than anyone else could.
Remember what I said? This is a dream. Once you wake up from a dream, you forget what happened, right?
She was stubborn and bullheaded. I would never be able to forget her. But I still remember the nightmares I had when I was a little kid.
Who are you calling a nightmare?
It was all I could do to keep from breaking down. But that was probably the same for her.
Anyway, forget about me. Forget about what happened today and everything else that came before. That's what I want.
She turned around and stuck out her pinky finger. She forced it around mine.
It's a pinky promise. Lie and I'll stab an electrode into your hippocampus. Got it?
God, I can see why Maho and you got along so well. That doesn't rhyme at all. I didn't know they had to rhyme.
Shut up.
Her hand moved away from mine. Her gaze looked away from me. It was almost time to say goodbye. She was sending a message to the past. I knew it was the right thing to do. I knew this is what she wanted. But still. Our voices overlapped. What is it?
You first.
It's nothing. I just wanted to say it out loud. The name of the person I cared for.
What a coincidence. So did I.
The name of the person I loved.
Hey, do you remember when we first met?
Which time? Of course I do. You made one hell of a first impression.
So did you. Really. I never thought things would end up like this. I never thought that encounter would lead to...
Would lead to meeting someone so important to me. Not that I'd say it now. That's right. I couldn't say it, but...
But just so you know, you're only allowed to remember our meeting right now.
Even for a little.
Once the world line goes back, you have to forget.
Even just for a second. I know. Just for an instant.
So you're going to forget me? Just like that?
If it would last just a little longer. This was your idea. Her voice.
That's true, but it still pisses me off to hear you say it just like it was nothing.
The way she moved. First you want me to forget, and then you want me not to forget. Which is it? Her smile.
It's just a joke. I'm just kidding.
Oh. It's a joke?
Yeah. Just a joke.
Just a little longer so that I could remember it all. But I was out of time.
Okabe?
Hmm?
Hi.
Those words were the sign that the magic was over. Yeah. There were a million things I wanted to say, but I stopped myself. Kurisu smiled, satisfied, and turned back toward the foam wave. She probably already had the message ready. The foam wave started to boom and crackle like thunder. It was a long, long countdown. The whole time, Kurisu faced away from me. And I just watched. The noise got louder. The countdown continued. And then... it was time.
Okabe? It's time to wake up.
Kurisu turned around with a big smile on her face. Her voice was cut off by the roar. Well, we're back. And then I woke up from my short dream. Color gradually returned to my blacked out vision. The lab started to come back into focus. I could tell immediately that the world line had changed. I could still see Kurisu when I closed my eyes. She wasn't in the development room anymore. It was like the whole thing had been a daydream. I felt like I'd been caught in the boundary between dreaming and wakefulness. I was back. Back to a world without Kurisu. This wasn't the Alpha world line. There was no point in even bothering to check. A moment ago, only Kurisu and I had been in this room. And now everyone was here.
Oh, Corinne? What's wrong? Are you sick?
No. I'm fine. That's the biggest lie you've ever told, Okarin. Sorry, I needed some more water. I need to get ready to do the Mayuri voice again. I may be real, I didn't expect to be doing the Kurisu voice today. Even, well, that's a lie, I kind of did, but I expected it to be Amadeus, not like living Kurisu. It's good to see her again, but it just like Okabe, just fucking hurts. Mayuri.
Want some medicine?
I'm fine. No need to worry. Best boy. And...
Really? You shouldn't push yourself.
I forgot you were here. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of forgot that you're pissed off in the other world line, and kind of forgot about you, Kagari. Still don't like the fact that you look like Kurisu. Sorry, my brain just thought of something, and I'm like, I don't think that's feasible. Don't think. It could be feasible. I don't want to think about it if it is, though. Sorry, I'll just talk through the thought I had. Alpha World Line Kurisu has a child. That child is Kagari. And somehow she's back here. I know that's not how time travel works in this game, where you have to actually... No, actually, Suzuha did it. With, like, young Kagari. No, she's definitely from the future. Unless... Alpha to Beta. And then... I don't fucking know at this point. Everything I think about Kagari, because it's the one mystery I don't know yet. Who the fuck are you, Kagari? Sheena Kagari. If Mayuri and Kagari were here, that meant I was back to the Beta World line. I'm just a little hungry. I haven't eaten anything all day. Just turns around and is like, oh, Karin, we were currently in the middle of food. Don't know what the fuck you're on about.
Come on, Uncle Okarin. You need to eat or you won't get big like Uncle Daru.
I'd rather skip a meal than end up like him. Huh? Oh, God, that's Yep. She called him Uncle. She fucking knows!
Okay, Mayushi will make something then. You will, Mommy? Can you? Oh, Kagari, not you too! Yuki's been teaching me things lately.
That's the other thing I'm concerned about. Yuki's bruised in the other world line where I think she was kicked.
Okay then, I'll help too.
Wait.
Sorry, should I not help?
No, that's not it. That's not it at all. I looked around at everyone and then back at Kagari. Miss Sheena.
Oh, Karin, I told you should just call me Kagari.
Something was different. Okay, Kagari. Can I ask what you were calling Mayuri?
I call her Mommy.
Why?
Why? Because she's my mommy. Right, Mommy? It's kind of embarrassing to hear that.
I felt vaguely dizzy watching Mayuri fidget in embarrassment. Then the two of you know that you're mother and daughter in the future?
Huh? You're the one who told me about her.
God damn it, I wish I would fucking, like... Never mind. I did?
That's That's right. You said it would be better to know the truth, right? Yep.
Did I really tell them? Did I tell them something that's so important? Then, does Lukako also?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to listen in, but I heard it anyway.
Lukako lowered his head in apology.
Oh, don't worry. I haven't told anyone. And being able to share everyone's secrets kind of made me happy. I would have been happy if you told me directly, but...
Even Lukako knew about Mayuri and Kagari. Which meant that, of course...
Still, I was really surprised. I thought the time machine was only fiction. I had no idea you could make it real.
He knew about the time machine. Evidently, I hadn't simply come straight back from the Alpha World line. I was in a world line slightly different from the one I'd been in before. The divergence meter I'd used was gone now. That meant I didn't have a precise number, but this all felt very different. The problem was finding out what was the same as the old world line and what was different. Never mind, I just tried to access my phone and can't right now. Kagari, can I ask you some more questions?
What is it?
I showered Kagari with questions in an effort to find out what was going on. Here's what I learned. First, Kagari retained her memories of childhood. In other words, the year 2036. She knew Mayuri, Daru, Suzuha, and also Faris and Lukako. But as for what the world 2036 was like, and how she'd become Mayuri's daughter, she hadn't told them the details about that. Fortunately, they hadn't seemed interested in knowing about their futures. Everyone always thinks they want to know about what their future holds. But when the chance finally comes, fear outweighs your curiosity. The future wasn't always a happy thing. Knowing the future might destroy your dreams. It might be a death sentence, like it was for me. Some people would lose all sense of meaning in their lives if they knew that there was inevitably going to be a war in which 5 billion people died. Then it was definitely your staying at Lukako's that brought you here, right?
Yep. And it was you who brought me and Mom together, Okirin? Don't you remember?
Right. I just thought I'd double check, you know?
Double check, huh? You're acting weird, Okirin.
Kagari going missing had happened almost exactly as I remembered it. The same was true as how she came to us. And you don't remember anything about what you were doing while you were missing?
No, not a thing. First thing I can remember is lying on a bed in the temple.
She was still missing some of her memories too. In other words, in this world line, the only memories she had were of her childhood, and of the last few weeks since she'd woken up in the Chiba Mountains. The most important part was still missing. Was there anything else I needed to ask? I was staring at the floor trying to think, when I realized that someone was missing. The floor is clean.
Oh, I cleaned it before you came.
No, that's not it. Wasn't there a little hole in the floor?
A hole in the floor?
The lab had been attacked just last night. Oh yeah, someone had fired a warning shot. During their attack, one of the bullets left a dark hole in the floor.
Was there a hole in the floor? I don't think so. so.
By the way, how was yesterday? The party? It was a lot of fun! I've never had so much fun in my life! They wouldn't say that if there had been an attack. Which meant the attack had never taken place. And Leskinen is still looking for those Japanese shaman girls. God damn it. Was no one after Kagari in this world line? No, it was too early to assume that. I still didn't know what had happened when she'd gone missing. Until I did, I couldn't say for sure if she was safe. Just like how I felt sometimes Mayuri's death would occur on different days in the Alpha World line. The same thing might happen a few days later. In fact, it would be a lot better to be cautious.
I hope we can all have another party again soon. When we do, I'll make something. Me too! I'll help!
They all started happily talking about last night's party. At first glance, it was a peaceful scene. But something sinister might be happening, and I just didn't know it. No, I knew something had to be happening. The fact that the world line was changing was proof. Why had it changed anyway? I thought back to the events of that night. First, someone had taken over Amadeus. Kurisu had called me and asked for help. Then I decided to ignore her and went on a whole binge about how Maho and Kurisu were besties, and then I came back. The world line had changed right after I answered. Which meant that the key was... Amadeus? Did Amadeus have something to do with the world line change? What about the group who'd attacked Kagari? Was it all connected? Maybe I needed to find out.
By the way, Kagari, you okay on time? No, break time's over. The owner's gonna get mad at me.
The owner? Do you have a job?
That's right. I'm working downstairs at the prom. I'm working at the prom workshop downstairs. Wait, I already told you this.
I see. In the old world line, Kagari had started working for Tenyoji after the attack. That was another difference.
Jeez, you're so out of it today, Okarin. Get a hold of yourself.
Sorry. Kagari hopped up and skipped out of the room. Her words and mannerisms were much more childish than they'd been in the last world line.
Work hard, okay? Okay, bye.
I feel like I recognize Kagari's voice actress, and that's like... I don't know. Kagari, let me ask you one last thing before you go. I asked one final question to Kagari, who was now giving me a crisp salute. Does the word Amadeus mean anything to you?
Amadeus?
Kagari seemed to think for a moment.
Nope, nothing.
I see. It didn't look like she was lying or being sarcastic. She must really not have known. I watched her leave the lab, then took out my phone. There was another thing I needed to check. What was happening with Amadeus? Oh, fuck. That ain't good. Amadeus. The AI that held Makase Kurisu's personality and memories. And the application which started the program. But the program was... gone. Sorry to call you out here.
It's fine. I just happened to be nearby.
After seeing the icon missing from my phone, I contacted Maho immediately. My goal, of course, was to see what was going on with Amadeus in this world. I had to find out.
So, what did you want to talk about?
It's about Amadeus. What? Maho's eyes suddenly went wide. Her reaction surprised me as well. I simply said the word Amadeus.
How do you know?
What do you mean?
How do you know about Amadeus? The program was put on hold last summer after Kurasu's death.
Amadeus was put on hold? You mean the project itself was shut down?
Yeah, that's right.
She clenched her fists in anger. It seemed the change in this world line was a big one.
Now, answer my question. How do you know about Amadeus?
Oh god, here I go telling Maho about time travel again. Because... Should I tell her about the world lines and attract field theory? Kurisu told me that someone at her lab was doing work on it.
Kurisu told you about that?
I decided that it wasn't the time to tell her. If I tried to explain everything, I'd have to tell her about D-Mail and the time machine. And to be quite honest, can't be fucked with that anymore. Maho didn't seem to know about all that yet. I could imagine what she'd do if she heard the truth. She was yet another one of those people who were entranced by the possibilities of science. Can you tell me a little about how the project was shut down? What was the reason?
Evidently, there was a complaint from outside the group. Creating an artificial intelligence with human memories is no different than making a copy of a human, they say. It's something that only God is allowed to do.
Oh god! I'd forgotten about the cult! I'd forgotten that we were attacked by a crazy man claiming that God should not exist in silicon, or something. God, now I'm just having flashbacks to the car crash incident. Jesus Christ.
A lot of people in Europe and America like to push their own values on each other's.
Yep.
Especially in delicate matters like these.
Is that the only reason?
Yep. At least as far as I've heard. The professor and the rest of the team were really mad when they heard the research was being shut down.
The Amadeus program was stopped. Oh, nope. Who is it? Oh, okay. I can make time for you, Lukako.
Okabe, there's something I want you to tell me.
Shouldn't you ask your dad? You okay with asking me? Ask Mayuri. You're okay with asking me?
Yes, I think you can give me good advice.
I don't want you expecting too much.
What kind of gift do you think a father would enjoy?
Your father, huh? I think the darkness within him goes very deep.
Huh? The darkness?
Oh, you know, darkness, black handkerchief? Maybe that would be a good idea. Maybe. Yeah.
A handkerchief. Great, I'll do that, but why black?
I think your dad probably likes black. For real.
Thank you, Okabe.
I slipped into Hyo and Kyomura there again. I'm glad I can still do that every now and again. The Amadeus program was stopped. Did that have something to do with the world line change too? Wait. So how did I meet Maho? We originally met at the Amadeus seminar. If that never happened...
What's wrong?
Oh, I was just remembering how we met. Way to make this sound like a date, Okabe.
Oh yeah. That was quite the coincidence, wasn't it?
I asked a few more questions, taking care not to rouse her suspicions, and managed to learn the basic story. Maho had really wanted to see the place where Kurisu had died. And she finally went to the radio building she'd run into me.
I hate to say this because it sounds really so unscientific. But I thought I'd like to think it was karma, and Kurisu brought the two of us together.
Karma. Or perhaps another example of attract field convergence. It had already been decided that Maho and I would meet here in Akihabara. But was there some meaning in that?
Oh, right. So many of the others I said hi. And that last night was a lot of fun.
Sure. Evidently, she'd gone to last night's party in this bloodline too.
It's given me some good memories of Japan.
Good memories? You're leaving?
Not immediately. Remember what I said? I'm taking over Kurisu's research. I can't stay on vacation in Japan forever.
I see. But still, she was only in Japan for another 10 days. That's another 10 days for things to go horribly wrong. I hope nothing would happen during that time. Amadeus had been shut down and no longer existed. No longer would I hear Kurisu's voice. After I said goodbye to Maho, whatever that meant had really started to sink in. I could still feel Kurisu's warmth in my chest. Her smell. All the feelings I tried to forget were coming back, now that I'd seen her. No one will ever be happy in that world line. Everyone will be miserable. That's what she'd said. I knew that. That's why I decided to stay here. But that didn't mean I could erase the sense of loss that I felt. I went back to the lab to get all this together in my head. The cause of the attack in the last world line was Kagari. There was a good chance that Amadeus was involved in the world line change that took place afterwards. But in this world line, the lab had never been attacked. And the Amadeus project had been cancelled while it was still in the research stage. That meant the two major factors in the events that had occurred so far no longer existed. They were gone. Maybe there was no need to worry too much. But even so, there was still a tiny alarm going off in the back of my mind. Why had Amadeus been shut down? What happened to Kagari's missing memories? If nothing else, I might need to learn the answers to those two questions. I thought for a while, then took out my phone and booted up the Rhine application.